Welcome, everybody, to the first ever episode of Brent Figures It Out. This is the video/podcast where I talk about whatever I want to talk about. We're going to keep it to 15 minutes long, since even though I'm verified, YouTube does not like me going over that. And today I think we're going to talk about some comic book movies, why I smoke a little weed. Today's flavor is Gorilla Glue. I do have a weed card, so quit writing shit already. Unless you're writing shit about how fat I am or my big nose, then trolls, keep going. I don't care. I think we're going to start with Batman v Superman today. I really enjoyed the movie. I tell people, I know what you're saying. At this point, you're like, oh my god, you enjoyed that movie? Yeah, I get it. There were some bad parts. I understand that. I do love bad movies, but I did not like this because it was a bad movie. I tell people they need to watch it at least 4 times. I know that's a lot for that movie, but I knew going into it, it was supposed to be like 3.5, 4 hours long, so I knew it was going to be cut to shit. I knew there was going to be some problems with it. I've never been that big of a Superman fan, so I really didn't care what they did with him. I understand the whole Jesus aspect, because if someone came down with that many powers, this day and age, people are going to look at him some sort of biblical way, whether that's good or bad. And I get all that, and Ben Affleck, I think, knocked it out of the fucking park. He was an amazing Batman. He looked the part, he acted the part, and people are screaming right now, he wasn't even a detective! I think that was the whole point of his whole fever. He was just so upset that he couldn't protect the people, his co-workers, that he was just so mad that he couldn't protect them, that he must destroy this being that just took this building out in one shot just so he can protect the world, because he couldn't protect the people closest to him. I get that. That's fine. He still played an amazing Batman, and they better fucking live up to their promise giving him his own Batman movie. I'm going to continue mush-mouthing through this while I take a hit. We'll also continue saying as much as possible. I think I'll try to do that even more. Anyways, so the next... there we go again. The next part, Gail Gadot. Played an amazing Wonder Woman. Looked exactly like the comics. Gorgeous as hell. Did a great job. Granted, when you think of Amazonian women, not technically from the Amazon, but, you know, in literature and everything like that, you think of more built like the girls from Futurama who want to kill people by snoo-snoos. You know, which would probably be around the size, like 7 to 9 feet tall. Whatever, maybe. I'm not a fucking historian with literature and shit like that, so I'm not gonna even fucking try to venture a guess on that. I did enjoy the rest of the movie. Yeah, there were some bad parts, especially when they fucking squabbled over moms. Oh, my mom's name is Martha! No, my mom's name is Martha! I get that. I understand why people are pissed about it. It was pretty cheesy, but, you know, I think by that point he was already, you know, maybe second or third guessing himself. I'm going to say you know a lot as well. I also think that the moment he asked someone to save him, I don't think it was quite the Martha that clicked in his head right away. I want to say they were going for the fact that he said save somebody clicked in his head right away, because I think it instantly humanized him, especially since he was in a vulnerable position and about to die. I mean, Batman was about to take this man's life, so this man was extremely vulnerable at that point, ready to die. And he's like, save my mom. It humanized him to a point where Batman's like, wait, you said Martha? And it might have just knocked him out of that haze long enough. Okay, I'll buy into it a little bit. And Doomsday looked weird. I guess it was interesting that they brought him out early. I understood what they were going for. It's cool that they kind of raised the dirt at the end and stuff. I've always wondered, every time Superman died and shit, why wouldn't you just, like, jettison him into space in, like, a clear coffin and just have him orbit the sun for a while? I mean, wouldn't that kind of work? Maybe? I don't know. Again, I'm not a big Superman fan. I'm a diehard Batman fan for the most part. I really wish I read more comics than I do. Some more trade paperbacks to add to my collection. I think there was chemistry between Gail Gadot and Ben Affleck, which is nice, because there was always kind of chemistry between Wonder Woman and Batman, even though he ends up having a kid with Catwoman, but I'm sure there's been, you know, a few other circumstances where he's actually gotten with Wonder Woman. Please leave comments, let me know. I will read them. So, all in all, not a bad movie. Then you come out with Civil War. Kind of going after the same aspect of collateral damage, doing it with a lot more superheroes, and it's like, okay, let's go. Yeah, some of the costumes were campier, and, you know, Marvel's shot in a funner light. They're shot lighter. You know, it's like not as through a dark filter. Because, you know, Warner Brothers, especially since Tim Burton was there for a while, yeah, they caught off the rails a little bit with Schumacher, but they've always seen things through a dark scope through DC, which is weird because DC always seemed more Boy Scouty of a comic book company than Marvel did, more G-rated, even though they definitely weren't. And I'm not trying to start an argument over Marvel versus DC. Good God, I don't care. I love them both. I think Civil War knocked it out of the park. Of course, so did everybody else. They did a great job. It was fun for the whole family. It broke $1 billion, I believe. All expected. Great. Spider-Man was amazing in it. They showed some of his true strength when he picks, when he was holding up that fucking, that walkway or whatever he was holding up and stuff. And I really love when they touch on how strong Spider-Man actually is. Because the dude has super strength like you wouldn't believe. He could pick up a car and throw it easily. Captain America couldn't, for the most part. And I do love how they kind of put everything else into perspective. I don't know if they're kind of hinting that Black Panther's all of his powers from the suit, because that's kind of what it is in the comics. He's Olympic level athlete, and he's very agile, but most of his stuff comes from his vibranium claws in his suit and everything like that. I argue with people all the time, whether or not he's the same as Captain America or is Captain America stronger and stuff. I go by the comics, and the comics flat out say that Captain America is the peak human, with strength, speed, everything. He's top. He's the tip top of what a human can be. So he's not superhuman. Well, I mean, he is for the most part, because technically no human could ever handle being peak on everything. So, but he is. But the very top. It's like if a human can bench, 700 pounds, he can do that. Which I think the record is even higher than that. He can do that. To where I understand where people are like, well, Olympic level athletes, they're like in the peak of their shape. They are. They really are. But he would be on top of what they could do. He's the peak of what anybody can do. He's the absolute peak of our abilities. To where Olympic is the peak of their ability. I hope you follow me with that. It's like, my peak is not the same as somebody else's peak. Their peak might be higher. My peak might be lower. This is a lot of talk about peaks. Twin Peaks came back, or is coming back. The peaks of mountains kind of look nice sometimes. This one time I saw this bird peeking at me. Anyways, so somebody's peak could be different than your peak. Granted, he's the peak of every human. Ever. Is what it's led me to believe. So I'm going to read into it that way and say that Captain America is stronger, faster, and just edges Black Panther out. I'm not saying that he's a better fighter or anything like that, because I think, there's fighting skills and everything on top of that. But, with training and everything, and he's been around for as long as he has. Yeah, he was frozen for a while, but what are you going to do? It sucks to be frozen. All in all, great movie. Spider-Man, shit-talking little kid. I really enjoyed it. I am going to cuss a lot in this video/podcast. If I haven't yet, then sorry. And I'm going to hit this again, just in case people start yelling at me about not getting high enough while I'm doing this. Anyways, great movie. We all know it was a great movie. Okay, that being said. Let's move on to X-Men Apocalypse. Whew. I enjoyed the movie. I did like it. It was out there. It jumped around a lot. The story was not great to follow. There were some big plot holes, just like Batman v Superman. I'm sure I'll like it more the more I watch it, but I did like it. I did enjoy it. I kind of wanted it to do about the same money, if not a little less money, than Batman. Because I wanted it to be a hit. I kind of want Deadpool to be the highest grossing film in the X-Men Mutant Fox franchise. And technically it will be, since it only cost like $50 million to make, and it made like almost $800 million. I think it did break $800 million. So technically it's going to, it's probably going to be there, because this one cost $175 million. So, I mean, even if it broke $900 million, because of the adjustment between the $125 million, technically Deadpool would probably still be in first place. That being said, I just wanted the top cap to be the most, and because I kind of want Marvel to play, because I want Fox to play ball with Marvel, not because I want Disney to have more money or anything like that. And I understand capitalism, but Disney was the first one to go, hey, I understand there's a pie here, and all of us want a big piece of this pie, and we all want to get hungry, but god damn it, why don't we make this pie fucking bigger? It's like, we have this pie and you have this pie, but if we put them together, we have this freaking pie, which is a lot more money, and we can share this money. And, Disney, in their capitalistic way, are being generous without knowing it. you know. But, bringing Spider-Man into the fold and having Sony still making their money off of it, like Homecoming and everything like that, that's an intelligent move. That's great, because now Spider-Man can be in the Avengers, now Spider-Man can be everywhere all over Marvel, and that's where he should be. He's home. Fantastic Four need to be there. The mutants need to be there, because, there's some big things that could be coming up that you can really potentially just shoot the moon with, and having the Avengers. I believe the Avengers and the X-Men were both against Onslaught, So, right there. Now, X-Men Apocalypse. I knew that Wolverine wasn't going to be in it much of it. I do love certain parts of it. There is some spoilers in here. If you haven't heard many of them, that's because I'm trying to be vague. I will try to keep spoilers to a minimum. I will catch myself. If I don't, I'm sorry. But again, spoiler alert. The movie was great. It had some dynamics to it. It had some interesting facts that I was like, ooh, that's weird. Oh, that's how they're going to do that. And they tie stuff together that may not have been in the comics. That is just or maybe I missed them. That's just a clever idea. And it's like, oh my God, and I'll say that, I'll tell you this, because maybe a lot of people didn't catch it. Maybe everybody who saw it caught it. It's doing okay in the box office, like $300 million after opening weekend, which is okay. It's decent. It's not terrible or anything like that. They should still make good money. They have a couple weekends to go. Allison Through the Looking Glass kind of bombed, and I really wanted to see that, but I haven't yet. And I don't know if anything big's opening this weekend yet. I haven't paid attention, but I think it might have a couple weekends to stretch its legs. But I will tell you this one thing. It doesn't really have much to do with the plot and stuff like that. But we all know Wolverine's in it because it's all in the commercial. Well, there's a spot where he's about to leave through a door and stuff, and he turns around against the kids, and Jean Grey is a kid who's played by the girl from Game of Thrones. And I'll get to another part which doesn't make a lot of sense after this, but he turns towards her, and she walks towards him, and he's like freaking out a little bit, and she calms him down, and then she grabs his head and pushes something, and takes off the mask, or takes off the helmet, and holds his head real quick, and then lets go. And she tells Cyclops, she's like, I gave him a piece of himself back. It wasn't much, but it was all I could give him. And he calmed down and looked at her and was just so grateful and pulled his plug. It's like, well, duh, when he starts getting his memory back, no wonder he's like madly in love with Jean Grey the first time he saw her. I mean, yeah, Famke Janssen is fucking hot as shit in that movie, but I mean, even in the comics and stuff, Jean Grey is depicted as a pretty good looking woman for a cartoon. But I mean, it just ties in so well. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's why he's always the moment he saw her, he just fell head over heels for her, because he just knew this girl was so kind to him and gave him this huge gift, and fucking he never knew why. And subconsciously, he's like, oh my God, this woman is the one who fucking saved you. And that's badass. The only part is Cyclops witnessed that, and you think Cyclops Scott would have said something later. It's like, oh, okay, that's why he's in love with you. I get that. I do. And maybe they would have talked about it or something, but it's the problem with going forward in the timeline and then backwards in the timeline and then forward again. You end up with certain continuity issues. But that being said, it was an okay movie. Hopefully it does pretty good money. I don't want it to do huge money again, because I still want them to eventually play ball with Disney. Just so we can have one field. I don't care who fucking actually directs the movie or produces the movie, which on the Fox side or Disney side, but just to have like an Onslaught thing going on, or, a Forces, or... people have been playing ball for a while. I mean, even Hulk's a Universal character, so he's been over there for a long time, which is probably why he hasn't had his own movie. But, well, I better wrap this up, kiddos. It's just about 14 minutes. They told me my limit was 15 minutes. Again, I'm verified. Hopefully, eventually, I can make these a little longer and we can get a little higher than 15 minutes. But, hopefully, you guys enjoy this. This has been Brent Figures It Out. Later!